In 1985, 86, I was at Regis University, and I had been on an airplane coming home from an AJCU business leaders conference at Gonzaga, and I was sitting next to Father Bill McGinnis, who was head of AJCU and a trustee at Regis. And I asked him, I said, why don't we have one of these for computing center directors? Because I know more about other institutions than Jesuit institutions. And he said, start one. I said, what does it take? And so
as I wrote in the note the other day, we had that first conference was in Boston, and I didn't know anybody. We had sent out blind invitations via U.S. mail to presidents inviting people to come to the conference. And
I volunteered that Santa Clara would host the third meeting, and that sort of set up an East Coast, Midwest, West Coast rotation that we tried to follow for meetings all along.
So I said, as I mentioned, the first meeting I attended was the first one at Boston College, and my boss at the time was Father Joe Pomeroy, and he suggested I attend and drive down the Mass Turnpike from Worcester, Massachusetts to Boston.
I've chaired and helped create the AJCU mentoring program with some really good folks.
Partnered and collaborated with a number of colleagues to establish the mentoring program.
I've been involved in shared services subcommittee for 6 years.
I attended 14 consecutive meetings, starting in Scranton in 2005. I did a few presentations. I think my favorite one was Vicky's Wikis.
Treasurer for CITM, as well as the chair of the mentoring program. And generally, I just try to be useful wherever I can. I've participated
in the mentoring program as a mentor for one person out in Gonzaga, which was a great opportunity. And it also enabled me to get one of my team involved.
The CITM group is important to me for a number of ways. I just think it's a group of friends where you can be open and honest and express a concern, ask for help without judgment. You know, it's a judgment-free zone type of thing.
One of the things that I would add is this is such a unique group. There's just a different vibe, right? It's that everybody is so collaborative, and we're all colleagues, and it's just a very different feel, a wonderful feel, you know, almost like family.
Really, it comes back to those relationships. Because of the history, the authenticity of the relationships, people are honest, people are open. You get together frequently with these folks. The CIOs are on Zoom every other week. We get together for an hour and we talk about what's going on and how you're dealing with the pandemic and whatever is hitting you today.
The conference itself, to me, is where I could talk to other leaders at schools that were going through similar things. And it's very different than going to EJCAUs. It's very different than going to it's not the place I want to go to learn about tools.
Now, at least I don't have that immediate network of similar schools going through similar problems and the ability to share with them. And I don't know if this is unique to AJCU, but it really is so special.
It is extremely important to me because I care about that feeling of camaraderie and feeling being part of the larger family of having the same concerns and goals.
And I have to tell you, what struck me from the first year, probably the second year even more, is how good the people were at CITM. And I'm not just talking about CIOs. I'm talking about everybody that actually attends the conferences. And
also allows everybody to share, which is really the value of the CITM meetings, is that you hear from so many different people.
It's just that collaborative nature. You know, you don't get that in industry. You don't get that working anywhere else. And I think that's really the key part of this. And we're all sort of helping each other out because we're all on the same mission. So that's what I get out of it.
Feel like, as somebody who's sort of the new kid on the block, AJCU CITM has really given me the opportunity to learn from an amazing group of mentors that I might not otherwise be linked with.